afternoon, everyone. My name is Greg Beckers. I'm with COCM, Student Housing Managers. We're here this afternoon with two Hoover High School seniors who will be going off to college next fall. And we thought it might be interesting to hear what their thoughts are about going off to school and what's going on surrounding the pandemic and how it's impacted their lives. So if we could, Sadie and Maddie, if you would please introduce yourselves, tell us where you're planning to go to school and maybe why you chose that institution. And we'll start with Maddie.
Okay, my name's Maddie. I'm graduating from Hoover High School in May or in June, maybe if the graduation ceremony happens then. And then I'll be going to Auburn University in the fall and majoring in nursing. I grew up in Auburn. I lived there until I was 15 before I moved to Hoover. So my family is moving back this summer. And then, yeah, I've always wanted to go to Auburn since I was young. So
Great. War Eagle.
Yes, War Eagle.
Sadie.
Okay. I'm Sadie. I'm a senior at Hoover High School, and I'm going to be going to Birmingham Southern College next year. And I chose Birmingham Southern because I really like the community there, and it makes me feel like I'm at home. So,
Great. As we move through, why don't you each tell us a little bit about how this COVID-19 pandemic has impacted your daily life? Sadie?
Well, I found that I have actually nothing to do for the first time in 12 years. So I've been really bored. It sounds bad, but like I feel kind of like a useless person. Like I feel like I have no purpose. So like I'm just going about my day with nothing to look forward to except college, and then again that's 5 months away. So it's just been a little slow recently, but we're pushing through, you know.
I would say that it feels like I'm just kind of waiting, where like this like last 2 months was supposed to be kind of like my send off into like kind of the next step or the next chapter, but now it just feels like I'm still waiting and waiting and waiting for something to happen, but like nothing's really happening. But then I work at a grocery store, so as far as like work and stuff, it feels like eerily normal for me to go to work and like still have that routine because like I am an essential worker, but then also like coming home and not have anything to do is like also weird. So like that contrast is like really, really different and not used to that at all, like going to work, but then coming home and not being able to leave at all. So.
Okay, sounds like you're both kind of looking forward to something changing and soon, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And I think I know the answer to this, but did the virus or this pandemic impact your school choice in any way?
It did not impact like university choice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, where are you going to go in the fall?
It did not impact it at all because I kind of already had that decision made, but it has like kind of I'm looking forward to it more now just because I don't have any more school ahead of me. So
yeah, the pandemic didn't affect my choice in colleges because I'd already decided before the whole thing blew up. But yeah, I'm just really looking forward to it more now.
What about your friends? Do you have anyone who you know who has either changed their plans or decided to postpone college, or is there anybody talking about those kinds of things?
I haven't heard of anyone that's decided to like maybe take a gap year or like change schools or anything. Mostly what I've heard is just a lot of people have, especially seniors, have a lot of time on their hands. So there's been lots of like connection and stuff like that with people that have committed to certain schools. I know at Auburn, there's lots of people that are trying to go ahead and connect with some friends and stuff online just before we all come together in the fall. And I feel like it's kind of increased all of our kind of desire to want to go to college and kind of there's a lot of things that aren't constant in life right now, like because of the pandemic. So that's like one thing that we can all like agree on and look forward to and have that like goal ahead, I guess.
She pretty much said it.
Okay, so nobody that you know of is planning to do something completely different, or
No, everyone's basically sticking to their original plan.
okay, because that's one thing that I think administrators are really wondering about is, are the students who have committed actually going to show up here in the fall? So that's good to hear. Um, let's talk about parents. Do you think your parents are approaching your going off to college differently, or do you think they have any concerns about you leaving the home in the fall that's different from normal, or that the virus has impacted in any way?
I know that, well, I just got an email about like 30 minutes ago that my college orientation is going to be online instead of like in person. And at my college that I'm going to, like, parents are really involved in that decision, or like they get to come to like the orientation with me. So that's like one thing that they're not going to be able to do, which is kind of different. Um, but as far as like sending me off to college because the college is in a town where I grew up and my parents also live there, I feel like it's kind of easier for them and they're kind of looking forward to that just because, we're all at home and um, there's not much else going on in my life now. So I feel like my parents are mostly concerned about me graduating, but as far as like after that, I feel like they kind of like um they're just ready for that to happen and they're looking forward to that just because there's nothing really else to wait on now, I guess.
I
Okay.
feel like, well, seeing as how you are my parent, you would know. But parents' concerns are more focused in the present right now because of what's going on rather than what's in the future. So I feel like nothing has really changed about like what y'all are like concerned about for the future. Like there's always going to be worries with like sending your oldest child off to college. But I don't feel like those have changed since 3 months ago. Maybe they'll change in the next few months, but that's just because it's getting closer.
Okay, fair enough. And as a parent, I can say we're ready for you to get out of the house.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay, so as we shift gears and start talking about when you arrive on campus in the fall, um, what do you think administrators or the people that are working there at the college can do to help ease some of those anxieties? What do you think might be different now than it would have been, pre-pandemic or absent any pandemic?
I don't know if much will be different, but I just think it's really important to keep students in the loop because I don't know, I always have a fear of not knowing what's going on. And I don't like not knowing what I'm doing. And so I feel like I just really want to be in the loop and like make sure I know everything that's going on just so I don't like I don't look like I don't know what I'm doing. I don't like that. But other than that, I'm not really worried about much. But
Okay. Maddie?
I guess worried about like um if this pandemic situation like continues like for far longer than we thought it would and like on into the summer to the point where like we can't go right away in the fall, like go off to college and we do remote learning for a little bit in the beginning of the fall semester. I feel like it would be more comforting to kind of like have that already outlined just in case that happens, or just not fully outlined, of course, until like it actually would happen, but just kind of have a plan in place, just kind of let students know like how that would work if it does come to that, and then if it doesn't, you obviously just proceed like normal. I feel like that would be comforting in some ways.
I also feel like it's kind of scary, like the just to think about like if we did continue like online school in the fall, what kind of experiences you'd be missing out on as a freshman, because like you don't get to go to your freshman football games or rush a sorority or anything like that, which is like typical for a freshman to do. So you're missing out on a whole semester of like making connections with people, and that's kind of scary to think about. But I don't know how to prevent that.
And if it carries that far, I'm sure colleges and universities will have to come up with some creative ways to try to simulate those experiences. I heard from both of you in response to this last question, I heard you want to know the plan, and I heard that communication is important. Do you feel like your respective institutions are doing a good job so far with communication?
So far, yes. I've had my admissions counselor reach out and ask how we're doing at home, and she's asked how our new normal was, and she wanted to know if we found like a roommate for next year, and just how we're like functioning in this new thing we've got going on, which is, it's just out of the normal. So it's good because they're really checking in on us to see how we're doing as people, and just like even now before we even go to the college, they're worried about us, and that's a good thing. So
Yeah, I feel like the communication has been like stronger than it ever has been before, just because they're constantly giving us updates on different things that are happening. And I feel like my college at least has been really good about not overdoing it with like constant emails and stuff about, you know, updating this, updating that, changing this, changing that. But I feel like they've been really responsive to it and made it really like easy for us to communicate with them, and really easy for us to understand like how they're gonna proceed with different things. So that's nice to have like that clear communication with them.
Okay, great. And I will finish with a lighter note. You're going off to college in the fall. You're both planning to stay on campus?
Mhm.
Okay. What is the one piece of advice that you would like to give your roommate as they prepare to live with you for a year? We'll start with you, Maddie.
So my roommate is my childhood best friend. We met in first grade where my mom's a teacher, so my mom put her in my class on purpose right across from me so we would become best friends. So we were best friends like all throughout ninth grade, and then last year she was like, hey, you want to room with me? So I guess one thing would be our sleep schedules are very different. I can get up early and function, but like staying up late, especially during school, is not very easy for me. Whereas she can stay up till 2 a.m, but then like cannot get out of bed before 10. So I guess one piece of advice I would give her might be to, I guess, get used to our differing sleep schedules. I feel like that's going to be the biggest difference between us. This pandemic has kind of taught me like stuff like that doesn't really matter in the long run. So I guess any piece of advice that I could come up with would kind of just be trivial compared to like everything that's happening right now. So anyway.
Okay.
I guess for me, I met my roommate this year from choir at Hoover, but I guess one piece of advice that I give her is to just talk to me. Like if something's upsetting her, something that I'm doing, like I'd rather her talk to me about it before like I don't know, just like keeping it internalized. I'd rather her like tell me so I can fix it, and so I don't like we don't I don't know, upset each other, because I like a peaceful environment, and so I don't want her to be upset with me for any reason. So I think communication's key for a roommate. So I'd rather her just talk to me about stuff than keep it all inside, which is something I need to reciprocate too. So just keep an open line of communication between us, because we are sharing a room for a whole year, which I've never done before. So
Well, in summary, it sounds like one, you and the folks that you know are still planning and are very excited to head off to college in the fall. And two, it's important for the colleges to communicate with you and stay in touch. And three, if there are any audibles that they have to call later in the summer, you want to know the plan.
yes.
Fair enough?
Yes.
Well, thank you both so much for your time this afternoon. I really appreciate it. You both have a great summer and good luck this fall.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye y'all.
Bye.